On 10th November 2025, a white Hyundai i20 exploded near the Red Fort metro station at the peak of Old Delhi's evening rush. The blast tore through one of the busiest corners of the capital, throwing the area into chaos. But while investigators rushed to trace the perpetrators, a narrative surfaced on the news media that this attack was a new kind of terrorism, white-collar terrorism. This new coinage is supposed to convey a sociological surprise that the new breed of Islamic terrorists weren't jobless and poor victims, but in fact, they came from educated and financially stable backgrounds. And yet, each major terror plot from the 1970s to the Red Fort blast reveals that this is nothing new. This is the uncomfortable truth. Some of India's deadliest terrorists weren't uneducated and unemployed. They were engineers, professionals, and upwardly mobile urban youth. Let us look at the lives of 5 white-collar terrorists whose stories expose the real engine of extremism: religious indoctrination, not illiteracy. Maqbool Bhat. Long before the rise of the Indian Mujahideen or Lashkar-e-Taiba, Maqbool Bhat laid the intellectual foundations for an entire insurgency. He was no uneducated rebel. He studied at St. Joseph's College, Baramulla, and worked as a journalist after that. He read political theory, revolutionary literature, and global liberation movements, and proceeded to write extensively on identity, nationalism, and Islamic supremacism. He co-founded the JKLF, shaping Kashmiri militancy through rhetoric, political theory, and ideological frameworks. Bhat wasn't driven by a lack of education. He was driven by a toxic worldview sharpened by modern education. Afzal Guru. One of India's most infamous terrorists, Afzal Guru, was born into a financially stable family in Baramulla, Kashmir, and was an exceptional student. He joined medical college for an MBBS, but dropped out after the first year, not because of trauma or poverty, but to join the JKLF militant movement. Though he seemed to return to a normal life after surrender, earning a BA, working as a pharmaceutical agent, and trading fruits, the government's de-radicalization programs proved hollow. Guru was approached again by terror handlers and helped facilitate logistics for the 2001 Parliament attack. He was tried and executed in 2013. Yasin Bhatkal. If Afzal Guru shattered the idea that education prevents radicalization, Yasin Bhatkal obliterated it. Born Muhammad Ahmad Siddi Bappa, he grew up in a comfortable environment in coastal Karnataka. He wasn't denied schooling or opportunity. He trained in technical and engineering fields, acquiring the skill set to join India's booming tech and manufacturing sectors. But instead of building machines, he built bombs. He became the bomb maker of the Indian Mujahideen, assembling explosive devices for carrying out terror strikes in Indian cities like Pune, Delhi, Ahmedabad, and Hyderabad. His expertise did not come from desperation, but from education weaponized by his belief in the supremacy of his religion. He wasn't a victim of circumstance, but an architect of terror. Abdul Subhan Qureshi, co-founder of Indian Mujahideen, often called India's Osama, was not only a diploma holder in industrial electronics, but also a Microsoft certified professional. Raised in Mumbai, he worked for Wipro, Datamatics, and BPCL as a top software engineer, even editing Simi's English journal. In 2008, he masterminded the Ahmedabad serial blasts and was wanted for the Mumbai train bombings, among others. Qureshi's expertise enabled him to create sophisticated IEDs and evade the police for years until his arrest in 2018. His trajectory exposes a disturbing truth. You can give someone an engineering job, but you cannot engineer them away from religious identity. Dr. Syed Ismail Afaque. You'd expect to find Dr. Afaque in a clinic, not a terror cell. With a Bachelor of Unani Medicine and Surgery, Afaque ran a homeopathy practice in Karnataka, moonlighting as a key Indian Mujahideen explosives supplier. He received ISI bomb-making training in Pakistan, rented homes under fake identities, and procured explosives for 8 major attacks, including Mumbai and Hyderabad. Arrested in 2015 after massive police raids, Afaque was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2024 for his role in terrorist conspiracy.
These 5 cases are not anomalies. They are part of a global trend. Osama bin Laden grew up in elite schools as the son of a billionaire. Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh, who orchestrated Daniel Pearl's beheading, studied at the London School of Economics. European ISIS recruits include engineers, doctors, IT specialists, and university scholars. Education didn't prevent their radicalization. Often, it made them more effective. The Red Fort blast wasn't planned by uneducated youth living on the margins. The planning displayed technical sophistication, digital awareness, knowledge of surveillance systems, precise timing based on commuter flow, understanding of metro schedules, familiarity with CCTV blind spots. These aren't the hallmarks of illiteracy. They are the signatures of informed, educated minds guided by theological doctrines. This is the takeaway India must not ignore. Radicalization isn't born in the absence of education. It thrives in the presence of religious hatred. You can offer a man a school, a degree, and a job. But if an extremist worldview promises him a higher reward, education becomes irrelevant, sometimes even an advantage. Therefore, terrorism in modern India is not a byproduct of poverty or illiteracy. It is the result of educated minds surrendering to radical ideology. The Red Fort bomber is a mere addition to the long list of white-collar terrorists. He wasn't an abandoned, marginalized figure left behind by development. He was an educated Indian Muslim living in a country that invested deeply in uplifting his community. Welfare reached him, opportunities reached him, protection reached him. But Islamist ideology reached him first. Until India confronts that truth and the global machinery behind radicalization, attacks like Red Fort 2025 won't come from the shadows of deprivation. They will come from the very classrooms, coaching centers, offices, and cities we are programmed to trust the most.